So today we're going to be going over our knee course, so Knee Health 101, all right? So we've got a couple of things to go over, and the beautiful Ksenia is going to help translate for you guys, so we can have you bouncing around, happy and free, and running up mountains like Mount Kilimanjaro.
Сегодня мы начинаем часть нашей программы по укреплению коленей, и мы проведем объяснение теоретическое для того, чтобы было понятно, как вообще работает наш коленный сустав и что мы должны делать для того, чтобы его укрепить или реабилитировать в случае, если у вас действительно какая-то проблема и была сделана операция, или если вы готовитесь к операции, то эта программа упражнений поможет укрепить колени. В любом случае, на какой бы стадии вы сейчас не находились, это не навредит ни в коем случае вообще никому, поэтому программа абсолютно безопасна и очень эффективна.
All right, very good. So let's go over a couple of little parts about the knee. So generally, like biggest issue that I see is muscle tension through the knee. So the first thing we're going to work on is a few trigger points relating to muscles that get tight and then sort of affect the biomechanics of the knee.
Самое главное, что нужно понимать, как работает наш коленный сустав. Вокруг него есть несколько точек определенных. Мы будем работать над мышцами вокруг колена, которые как раз-таки и создают тот дискомфорт, который мешает коленной чашечке нормально функционировать, и, соответственно, колено превращается в то, которое не способно выполнять приседания и выполнять какую-либо нагрузку. То есть, разобравшись с этим, мы можем устранить эту проблему и, соответственно, сделать коленный сустав более крепким.
All right, hi, g'day. Jordan here, and we're going to talk a little bit about knees. All right, so the first part of getting those knees nice and strong and healthy is to work on relieving some of the muscle tension around the knee. So it's usually either upstream or downstream is going to cause problems here within the knee. Okay, so the first thing that I commonly see is that this muscle in here, especially on ladies, isn't very well developed, and so instead they use a lot of this outside. So generally this is weak and this is too strong, and it's just like full of lots of knots. All right, so what we want to do is just be working up along this line as this muscle comes down into the knee, and just be relieving some of the tension in through here. And you'll usually feel like if there's a little bit of a spot, like you can sort of work with your thumb, you're like, ooh, yeah, that sort of feels like a spot. You can just sort of work it out like that, all right? And the trick with this is to just do sort of 5 minutes a day. You don't have to do it for a long time, as in like a half an hour session once a week isn't going to do much. It's more just doing a little bit every day. So just working in along this outside line. This is the most common thing I see with knees, is just needing to relieve a bit of tension through the outside of the leg. Okay, so just using the thumb and the other hand overneath. Or the other thing that you can do is get yourself one of these massage balls, all right? And I'll show that a bit later about how we can go over these points, rubbing in through those parts in the outside leg. So next spot is that, yeah, we'll actually go in behind the knee. So there's another one right in behind the knee. And again, you just have a bit of a feel, and if something's sort of like, oh, I feel like, yeah, there's a bit of a knot, a little bit of sore spot. The trick is you want to then like press in and hold for about 30 seconds, and then the pain will slowly start to dissipate, slowly start to go away. All right, so in behind here is another important one for the knee. All right, and as I said, sort of coming up that line of that leg. Next one is coming along the shin bone. So just working in along that shin bone, trying to relieve a little bit of tension there. And so what you'll find is if you come across something that's really sore, you sort of hold it in there, try and relieve it a bit, and then you test it out. So then go sort of see if that has made the knee feel a bit free, see if it feels any better, and then you know you're on the right track, okay? So, but commonly it's going to take a few weeks before you can start to let it sort of relax and let it release, all right? So it might feel good straight away, but then it'll go back to its tight settings. It takes a little while to break that down. So coming down along here, along the side, and then again, you might feel like a little bit of a spot. Just sort of hold for 30 seconds, and then the pain will start to go away. But you're just wanting to be massaging that. All right, so they're the 3 points that we've got so far. Outside of the leg, underneath the knee, along the shin bone, all right? So then, your next point that you're gonna maybe feel a little bit of something is right at the end here. So there's 3 tendons that come around and wrap into the knee here. So you just want right at the point of this muscle in here, you might feel a little bit of tension in. Again, you can use the sort of thumbs, and it's all just depends. Everyone's gonna be different. So some people are gonna have sort of more pain in one spot than the other, but generally these are the trigger points. These are the acupressure points where you want to be getting a little bit of release, and then that's going to help with the function of the knee. Next is the kneecap itself. So sometimes, the kneecap sits in a groove, and sometimes it gets all built up of scar tissue, and so we just want to sort of what's called polishing the joint. So you're just moving the kneecap up and down, all right, then side to side, and then on a 45-degree angle, so coming back and forth through the knee there, all right? All just great things to invest in good knee health. So just moving that back and forth. And again, you might feel like one part up and down, it's just like it doesn't move freely, it sort of grabs a little bit. So that's when you know you need to do a bit more work on that, or it might be side to side. You'll be able to feel that it doesn't move very freely, so you want to work that a little bit more. And then working your diagonals side to side on the knee. All right, good. So then your next point, and this is where you really want to get a ball like this, because it's a bit hard to be able to self-massage, but it's this muscle right in the side of the hip, okay? So generally what happens, if this muscle's too tight, it brings the knee in sort of like on this angle. So what you want to do is release that so that the knee comes out. Okay, so your best bet is, well, you can come just up against the wall, so just in there, sit that right in the pocket and get a little bit of a release in through the side of the hip. And again, you'll feel it. You'll know that there's something just like, whoa, it really stands out. And you just sort of breathe into it, get a little bit of a hold for about 30 seconds, just keep the pressure on, and slowly the muscle will start to release, okay? So you can either do it that way, or if you really want to get into it, coming down on the side, in the hip there. Oh, yeah, that's a good spot. All right, and again, after you do a little bit of a release, so come back up, then just give it a bit of a test, and you're like, oh, that feels better. And so you know that that's the one you should be working on, but again, it takes a bit of time, so it's not just going to come good in one go. You just got to keep that up over the course of a couple of weeks to retrain the muscle so that it becomes a little bit more relaxed, all right? So it's like anything, you've got to train it to become relaxed. All right, so they're the key points of where we want to be working on the knee. Again, if you want to use the ball, if your hands just aren't strong enough or they get too tired, again, you sort of come in, working that outside. So just lying down, you can just have that ball in there. And usually what I find is the trigger point's about halfway. So like halfway up the quad on the outside, and then you're just coming in and, oh yeah, get a little bit of a hold there. Good. And then you can come down through the front there as well. So just bringing that and just working that ball up and down from there. All right, good. Then the shin bone, a little bit more tricky. So you got to have that one there, and then sort of coming up and just working along that shin bone into that muscle. Good. And then behind the back of the knee, I probably wouldn't recommend using a ball. Just the fingers in behind, because it's a lot of nerves, is very sensitive in behind the knee there, okay? So you probably don't want to be jamming a ball in there. So that one, it's just like using using like this, okay? So good. They're our main massage points, trigger points for just helping that knee just to be able to move and function as well as it can. So the next component is looking at doing the strengthening side. So that's the releasing of the tension. So it's always a combination between releasing the muscles and then strengthening the right ones, okay? Cool. First lesson done.